The Grand Tapestry of Life, an introduction to evolution. Life on Earth is a magnificent spectacle. It's a story that spans billions of years. From the tiniest bacteria to the mightiest whales, every living thing is part of this grand narrative. This is the story of evolution. It's a tale of constant change and adaptation. Evolution is not just a theory, it's a fact supported by overwhelming evidence. We see it in the fossil record, we observe it in the DNA of living organisms. Even in our own lifetime, we can witness species adapting to changing environments. Evolution explains the diversity of life on our planet. It helps us understand how complex organisms arose from simpler ones. The journey of evolution is full of twists and turns. There have been mass extinctions and explosive diversifications. Through it all, life has persevered and flourished. Today we see the results of this long journey and the incredible variety of life forms around us. So, let's begin our journey through the fascinating story of evolution. From primordial soup to simple cells, the origin of life. Our story begins some 4 billion years ago. The young Earth was a hostile place. Volcanic eruptions were frequent. The atmosphere lacked oxygen. Lightning storms raged across the skies. In this chaotic environment, something extraordinary happened. The first life forms appeared.
Scientists believe life began in a primordial soup, a mix of simple organic compounds in the early oceans, created by energy from lightning and UV radiation. Over time, these molecules became more complex. Eventually, the first simple cells emerged. They could make copies of themselves. This self-replication allowed them to spread and diversify. They were the ancestors of all life on Earth.
The rise of complexity eukaryotic cells emerge. About 2 billion years ago, a revolutionary change occurred. A new type of cell appeared. These were the eukaryotes. Unlike their simpler predecessors, eukaryotic cells had a nucleus. This nucleus housed their genetic material. It was a game changer in the story of life.
Eukaryotic cells were much more complex than prokaryotes. They had specialized structures called organelles. These included mitochondria, which provided energy. They also had chloroplasts, which enabled photosynthesis in plant cells. These organelles were likely once free-living bacteria. They were engulfed by larger cells in a process called endosymbiosis. The emergence of eukaryotes opened up new possibilities for life. Their complex internal structure allowed for greater specialization. This paved the way for more diverse and complex life forms.
Strength in numbers. The shift to multicellularity. The leap from single-celled to multicellular life was monumental. It happened multiple times in Earth's history. Different groups of organisms independently evolved multicellularity. This occurred in algae, fungi, plants and animals. It was a crucial step towards the complex life forms we see today.
Multicellularity offered many advantages. It allowed for specialization of cells within an organism. Some cells could focus on feeding, others on reproduction. This division of labor made organisms more efficient. It also allowed them to grow larger and more complex. Multicellular organisms could adapt to new environments in ways single cells couldn't. The transition to multicellularity wasn't straightforward. It required cells to cooperate and communicate. They needed to stick together and work as a team. This was achieved through the evolution of cell adhesion molecules.
Section 5, the Cambrian explosion, life's great diversification. About 541 million years ago, something remarkable happened. In a relatively short span of time, life on Earth underwent a dramatic transformation. This period is known as the Cambrian explosion. It was a time of rapid evolutionary innovation and diversification. The fossil record shows an incredible burst of new life forms during this period. Before the Cambrian, most life was simple and small. But during this explosion, complex animals appeared in great numbers. Many of the major animal groups we know today emerged. These included arthropods, mollusks and chordates, our own ancestors. The oceans teemed with strange and wonderful creatures. Many had hard shells or exoskeletons for the first time. The Cambrian explosion laid the foundation for all animal life that followed. It established the basic body plans we see in animals today. They paved the way for the incredible diversity of life we see around us now. Section 6. Conquering New frontiers, plants and animals take to land. For billions of years, life was confined to the oceans, but around 500 million years ago, a new frontier opened up. Living things began to colonize the land. This was a monumental shift in the history of life. It required major adaptations to a very different environment. Plants were the first to make the move onto land. They evolved from green algae. The earliest land plants were small and simple. They lacked roots and leaves. Over time, they developed these structures. This allowed them to grow taller and spread more efficiently. The evolution of vascular tissue was crucial. It allowed plants to transport water and nutrients throughout their bodies. Animals followed plants onto land. The first land animals were probably arthropods, like millipedes and scorpions. They were followed by amphibians. These animals could live both in water and on land. Later came the reptiles.
Section 7. The Age of Giants dinosaurs dominate the Earth. About 245 million years ago, a group of reptiles began to dominate the land. These were the dinosaurs.
They would rule the Earth for over 160 million years. It was one of the most spectacular periods in the history of life on our planet. Dinosaurs evolved into an incredible variety of forms. Some were enormous, like the long-necked sauropods. Others were small and agile. There were fierce predators like Tyrannosaurus rex and peaceful plant-eaters like Triceratops. Dinosaurs occupied almost every terrestrial niche. They even took to the air, evolving into the first birds.
The success of dinosaurs was due to several factors. They had efficient respiratory and circulatory systems. This allowed them to grow to enormous sizes. Many had hollow bones, which made them lighter. They also had a wide range of adaptations for different lifestyles. Some ran on 2 legs, others on 4. Some had armor, others had feathers.
Section 8, A New Dawn, The Rise of Mammals. Mammals have a long evolutionary history. They first appeared around 225 million years ago. For most of this time, they lived in the shadow of the dinosaurs. They were small, mostly nocturnal creatures, but when the dinosaurs went extinct, mammals had their chance to shine. In the absence of large dinosaurs, mammals rapidly diversified. They evolved to fill many of the niches left vacant. Some became large herbivores, others fierce predators. Mammals developed a wide range of adaptations. They evolved fur for warmth and mammary glands to feed their young. Their teeth became specialized for different diets. One of the key advantages of mammals was their intelligence. They had larger brains relative to their body size. This allowed for more complex behaviors. Mammals also cared for their young, which improved survival rates.
Section 9. Our Own Story, The Evolution of Humans. The human evolutionary story is a fascinating branch of mammalian evolution. It began around 6 million years ago in Africa. This was when our lineage split from that of chimpanzees. Since then, many species of human ancestors have lived and gone extinct. We are the sole survivors of this evolutionary journey.
Our ancestors went through several key changes. They began to walk upright on 2 legs. This freed up their hands for tool use. Their brains grew larger over time. This allowed for more complex thinking and social behavior. They lost much of their body hair and developed the ability to sweat efficiently. This made them excellent long-distance runners.
One of the most important developments was the evolution of language. This allowed for complex communication and cooperation. Humans also developed the ability to use and control fire. This opened up new food sources and provided protection. The use of tools became increasingly sophisticated. This led to the development of technology.
Section 10. The engines of change mechanisms driving evolution. Evolution is not a random process. It is driven by several key mechanisms. Understanding these helps us grasp the diversity of life. It also shows how life evolves today. Natural selection is the most well-known mechanism, often summed up as survival of the fittest. Traits that help survival and reproduction are passed to offspring. Over time, beneficial traits become common. This shapes the adaptations in nature. Mutation is another crucial mechanism. Mutations are changes in DNA. They can be harmful, neutral, or beneficial. Beneficial mutations spread via natural selection. Mutations are the source of genetic variation. They provide material for evolution. Other mechanisms include genetic drift and gene flow. Genetic drift is random change in trait frequency. It's important in small populations. Gene flow occurs when individuals move between populations.